Yo, what's going on, guys? Matthew V. Haynes here, aka The Clockmaster. I'm here to talk about Andor episodes 1 through episodes 4.
Right now, they're afraid.
Let's go! Hang on!
Star Wars Andor.
This is a spoiler-free review. The episodes, the premieres, they released September 21st. So I'm recording this a little bit earlier. So I can't wait to talk about Andor, guys. And this is, again, spoiler-free. So I'm going to read you some of my pros, some of my cons, all my general thoughts concerning Andor, and we'll go from there. Andor finally delivers what I wanted from a Star Wars project. Instead of retelling the usual story the same way fans have been used to, Andor takes a giant leap by making its story and characters grounded, and it really pays off. And I seriously mean that, guys. Like, I wasn't really too excited about Andor when they first announced the series. I was like, okay, because I thought Cassian was cool. I loved Rogue One. I love Rogue One. It's one of my favorites. And I was like, okay, Cassian's cool, but I don't know why I would want to see more of him in a series. Like, I didn't really know what to think of that. And then the first teaser dropped, and I was like, okay, this looks like it could be a vibe. I liked how things were looking in it, the vibe it was giving off, the energy it was giving off. I'm like, okay, this could be something, but I still don't know yet. Let me keep watching the trailers just to see what they do. And then they released the other trailer after that, the Winter Star Wars Celebration, and they released D23 stuff, and I'm like, okay, I'm officially sold on this series. And I'm like, okay, this series looks like it's going to be something that I really wanted from Star Wars, because we've been getting the same types of storylines, these really big characters and these really big moments and surrounding a really big subject. But what about the opposite of that? What about people, everyday people who are just going through their normal lives? How is the Empire affecting them? And we got some of that through the Ahsoka novel. If you guys read the Ahsoka novel, it's one of my favorite Star Wars books, and we kind of got a glimpse and a look into that too with Clone Wars and Rebels, of course. And the Ahsoka book, again, going into a different planet, like a moon that was just people working with a normal 9-to-5, clocking in what it's like to work for the Empire, things like that. So, but Andor takes those concepts and really brings it to another level, everything from the show. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about some of my pros. So one of my pros is definitely the atmosphere and the overall feel for the series. I'm immediately from the first episode, I was drawn in. They gave a specific shot from the beginning, and I'm like, okay, this feels like peak sci-fi, Blade Runner 2049 kind of feel. It's giving me the spy thriller kind of vibe that I wanted from a series like this. I'm like, okay, this is it. I'm sold. I'm hooked. I want to see what it immediately from the first shot. I'm like, okay, this is raw energy. This is pure grounded feelingness that I got from them. I love that immediately from since I saw that. But then throughout the rest of the episodes as well for the premiere, it's one big giant movie. Everything feels grand in a grounded way. And it's weird to say that, but they didn't use the volume for this. They used normal green screen sets and filming in actual locations and stuff like this for the series. So I'm like, okay, this is legit. This is great. The atmosphere is there. Everything accentuates everything. And honestly, guys, another positive and pro for me is Diego Luna's performance as Cassian. He really truly loves that character, and you can see that he brings a lot of depth to his character. The premiere alone does a really great job with that, just because you can see the desperation in his eyes, you can see the longing and sometimes even the despair and maybe the tiny slivers of hope within that. Just the way how he presents himself and commands attention when he enters the screen, it's just amazing. So Diego Luna is another super strong aspect of this, of course, because sometimes you have characters, they come and they return back to their characters, they don't feel right. Some people have been saying with Obi-Wan, specifically when Ewan McGregor came back, I've seen some comments thrown around that his performance didn't feel like Obi-Wan. He didn't feel like he was Obi-Wan again. And granted, he hasn't played the character in years. Diego Luna really eats up the screen, eats up his character, and everything about it is just awesome concerning his performance. And another thing too is that this is probably the most adult Star Wars has been, and and like not in the way you think. It's not like anything crazy, but like they have a lot of suggestive themes in this series that you would not see. It is TV-14 that you would not see in like The Mandalorian or even Rebels or like Clone Wars or whatever. There might be like some small underlying jokes that maybe adults might get, but they have a lot of suggestive themes within the series alone, like which you guys will have to see. It may not seem as big in comparison to other shows that go all the way, but for Star Wars it's a pretty big step, like considering that most of the time anything when it comes to any of those suggestive themes are like usually on the down low, or it might just be like a kiss or something, but they really do make the show feel more mature and more adult in that way. Like I said, it's nothing crazy, nothing like Game of Thrones kind of stuff, but like it has a lot of those themes that make the show more mature. So that's another thing that I really liked about it. And I touched a little bit, like, it felt like I was watching a movie, because it did. Like it really feels like a big event. Especially the first 3 episodes, leading into episode 4, which is getting released next week, I believe. But like those first 3 episodes, you have to watch them back to back. You have to, because I'm sitting there like watching it, and of course reactions are filmed for this, so you're gonna see my reactions to these when the episodes drop. But like I'm sitting there watching it and I'm like, okay, cool. And then when it gets to the end of the episode, I'm like, what? Is the end of the episode already? like it didn't feel like I was watching a super long and draggy and boring thing, which I know a lot of people are concerned about, and I don't blame them. I don't blame you guys if you have any concern when it comes to the pacing and like the flow of the show. But like throw that stuff out. Like it definitely sells and it wins and it earns a lot of points when it comes to that, because by the end of each episode I'm like, dang, like I want to watch the next one like right now. So yeah, man, it's like an awesome premiere. Awesome premiere. And personally, I think I like the premiere a lot more than Obi-Wan Kenobi, if I'm being real with you. If that's just my honest opinion here. And again, just talking about like similarities to Blade Runner. Blade Runner, if you guys don't know, is apart from Star Wars, it's like my favorite sci-fi sci-fi project out there. Blade Runner, it's like things I love. Blade Runner, Cowboy Bebop, Star Wars. And then Cyberpunk is up on there. But like Blade Runner and Star Wars are like right up there for me. Not everyone loves Blade Runner, not everyone could appreciate Blade Runner, and that's okay, but it has a lot of that, like especially within that the first episode, like the gritty sci-fi feel of Blade Runner that I like atmosphere wise. It has a lot of similarities in tone to Blade Runner 2049 and Blade Runner, Ridley Scott's Blade Runner. So I mean, I personally appreciated that just because it's like combining the two of the things that I like into one. And again, it still feels like Star Wars. Like it doesn't feel like it's not Star Wars. And in terms of tone, and however you felt during Rogue One, it has a very similar tone to Rogue One, so it fits in perfectly with that. And of course, the color grading and the way how they did everything, the editing, just it's beautiful. I love it. I absolutely love that part of it. And lastly, the action. I mean, I know that's another concern of people too. The blasters and the way how they use them in this. And the music as well, they find such a really unique way to blend all of that to make it feel like a really immersive experience. It doesn't feel like, just random gunplay and just like it feels like you're in that situation with the characters and the actors as they're like exchanging blows with each other, and even the fighting and everything like that. It feels really rugged, raw, and real. And I just overall love the feeling that I got from watching it, because I just couldn't stop watching. I wanted to watch more, and I'm mad I only got the first. I'm happy that I got 4 episodes early, but like I'm still a little upset because I wanted to see more. Like I really wanted to see more, man. Especially after episode 4, I was like, okay, I want to see more of this series. This is awesome. This is on my list. One of the best series. One of the best series, not the best series, but one of the best series to release this year. I have to do a whole ranking of like all my favorite series this year, because you had like Peacemaker and all that is up on my list as well. So I have to do a ranking, but this is definitely up there in terms of enjoyable content and literally just blowing my expectations out of what, like I did not know what to expect with the series. Seriously, I went in with this an open mind, and I was like, okay, cool. Like I'm excited. I want to see where it goes, but it could still disappoint me, and it didn't. So that's good. In terms of like cons, I didn't really have too many cons. At all, really. Just from the first viewing, I was really thinking about this as I was writing my notes and writing down the structure for the review, because I normally just like write down notes for my review. I didn't really think of anything that I disliked about the premiere. There wasn't anything particularly that I disliked. Like, anything would be a nitpick, really. Like wanting to see more of a specific character or something like nothing that really changes the overall experience of the series. So yeah, I can't really think of any cons. I didn't really have too many for that, and that's it's really rare because I normally have a good amount of pros and cons. But anyways, man. So for my closing statement, guys, Andor has truly been worth the wait, considering that I didn't expect too much from it. And I can't wait to see more of this series, and I can't wait for you guys to see the series as well. It does also share some tones and similar undertones to Jedi Fallen Order. So it does have a lot of similarities in tone to that game. So yeah, man, I can't wait. I can't wait for y'all to see it. Just, if you don't take my word for it, man, just wait for it to. If you don't believe me, you think that I'm like. Because I still get this to this day. Some people think that I'm just getting paid to say what I say, but like, trust me on this, guys. I think you're gonna enjoy it. If you trust my opinion, I believe that you're gonna really enjoy this series. And if you didn't like it, honestly, just come back to this video and let me know what you thought, what you didn't like about it. I'm very curious to hear all opinions on this. I entertain constructive opinions. If it's just like, woke this or that or this or those types of comments, I can't really do much with that. But like, if you disagree with it, you don't like the series at all, I really want to hear your points on it, because you might have some really good points. So yeah, let me know your thoughts down below, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Clockmaster out.